A-League's transfer news. We're going to start off with Sydney FC. Some movement in the A-League women's squad. Sky Halmerick has signed for the upcoming season, while a trio of youngsters have been promoted from their development squad. They've also signed Bianca Galich from Central Coast Mariners on a 3-year deal. Galich, a part of that championship winning team for Central Coast Mariners last season. For the Sky Blues A-League men's team, an impressive piece of recruitment here. Paul Okon-Engsler. I think this is a really smart signing for Sydney FC. Feels like it could be a similar move to what we saw Ryan Teague do at Melbourne Victory over the last couple of years. A young defensive midfielder returning back to Australia. He's a top player and he could have a real massive season for Sydney this year. According to Kevin Jimenez on X, former Wellington Phoenix midfielder Houston Salas could be on his way to Brisbane Roar. The deal is apparently a season-long loan deal, and reportedly there is an option to buy. According to Kevin Jimenez here, there is a verbal agreement, so it looks like it could well be happening, and it would be another big move to strengthen that midfield there for Brisbane Roar. We know they have already signed a midfielder there in Milorad Stajic. They've already got one of the top central midfielders in Jay O'Shea there, so it's going to be interesting to see what sort of system Michael Valkanis, the new head coach there at Roar, wants to play, bringing in another midfielder. But the Roar this week did confirm the signing of Justin Vidic. 3 strikers now at Brisbane Roar, 3 new strikers. Last week it was Christopher Long. We know they've already signed Michael Roos a few weeks back. Now Justin Vidic. So 3 strikers there to choose from at the moment at Brisbane Roar. For the upcoming A-League women's campaign, Amelie Kinsella has signed for the upcoming campaign, while Daisy Brown has signed a 2-year scholarship deal. Former Macarthur FC midfielder on his way to League 2 in England. Jake Holman signing with Walsall FC. What do you guys make of this deal? It's quite an interesting one. League 2, we've seen a lot of Aussies signing with English Championship clubs. So many Australians playing in that league this year. Obviously the 4 guys at Portsmouth, Segicic, Matthews, Farrell and Waddingham. We've got Kelly Adamson and Daniel Benny, as well as Jalen Pearman, who are at QPR as well. Nesri Nkunda at Watford. Jake Holman, League 2, he's a top player. He's progressed so well at Macarthur FC over the years. He was there since the first season there at the Bulls. So it is a big transfer, big loss for Macarthur FC. As we know, the Bulls have already brought in Anthony Caceres. Looks like that sort of direct replacement for Jake Holman in that number 10 position. But it will be a fascinating move here for Jake Holman, moving to the League 2. Hopefully he's getting, regular minutes week in, week out here. It's been pretty quiet at Central Coast Mariners this transfer window. We haven't seen any ins yet for the men's or women's team, but Bianca Galich has departed the club. This was announced this past week. Bianca Galich scored that winning penalty in the penalty shootout in the A-League Women's Grand Final. She was there for the last couple of years. Meanwhile, Matilda's defender Jessica Nash is on her way to Italy. Another big loss for Central Coast Mariners. She was one of the top centre-backs in the A-League Women's competition over the past season. And a new club for Will Wilson. He is on his way to Finland. It's a shame that we didn't really see Will Wilson's best football at Central Coast Mariners. So it's a fresh start here for Will Wilson overseas, and we wish him all the best. Another big departure for Adelaide United, and this one is quite unexpected. This was announced, I think, less than 24 hours after he scored a goal in the Australia Cup round of 32. Stefan Mork, who was a key player for Adelaide last season, he's departing on a loan deal. Apparently he's heading over to a club in Vietnam. I think it's particularly concerning considering that Zach Clough departed the club as well. So you've got 2 players who were pretty much starting week in, week out for Adelaide last season, 2 top players departing the club. They're losing some key personnel there. And yes, they've brought in Craig Goodwin, which is obviously a fantastic signing. But that's a real surprising one for me. Stefan Mork leaving the Reds on loan. And let's finish off with our Aussies abroad. An exciting move for Jody Boss confirmed last week. He has signed up with Feyenoord. This, I think, is a really, really good move for Jordan Boss, heading from Belgium to the Netherlands, a good league here. And this is a team he apparently, followed as a child. So it's a really exciting move for Jody Boss. Socceroos left back. Hopefully a big season for him coming up in the Eredivisie. Another week and more talk about this guy, Nectar Triantis. He's one of the most popular names when it comes to Australian football at the moment. Thanks to Ozfoot HQ for sharing this news coming from Scott Burns. Apparently Sunderland have rejected a bid of £1.2 million for Nectarius Triantis to Derby County. Derby County currently playing in the English Championship. So there you go. I mean, at the moment, we haven't really seen Triantis featuring the preseason friendlies for Sunderland. It's not quite clear how much of a role he's going to get at the recently promoted Premier League club. But there you go. They've turned down that bid there for Triantis. Heading over to the MLS, and Lockie Brooke has recently parted ways with his club Real Salt Lake there in the US. He's been there for about the last year now. Of course, we know the season prior to that, he was at Western Sydney Wanderers. More developments on Marco Tilio. It seemed that he's heading to Austria. Melbourne City have confirmed that he won't be returning for the upcoming season. This news coming out from Alex Huber saying that Marco Tilio is planned as a new signing for Rapid Vienna, but Celtic won't let Tilio leave until a new winger lands in Glasgow. So an interesting development there. I mean, you'd imagine that Celtic will, be able to bring someone in, that Tilio could stick around there at Celtic, but it seems to be that the feeling is that Tilio will be departing Celtic. A fascinating move for Aiden Hrustic. He is rejoining Heracles Almelo, a team that he was at a couple of years ago now, and I think this looks like a good move for Aiden Hrustic, going to a club that he knows, that he spent time at. He needs to be playing regularly and find some good form if he wants to be in that World Cup squad next year. Of course, he'll have aspirations to be in that World Cup squad next year, but we haven't really seen him feature all that much under Tony Popovic, and we know it's so competitive in those attacking positions, especially with the likes of Nestor Irankunda and Adrian Segicic tipped to have, big campaigns. But Aiden Hrustic could be a really good inclusion for the World Cup next year, just with his experience, and hopefully for him personally, it's a big season coming up in the Netherlands. A new club for Massimo Luongo as well. It was recently spoken about that he was trialling at Millwall. It now has been confirmed that he has signed with the Championship club. And of course, we have to highlight this one as well. Marco Rojas, one of the legends of the A-League, has announced his retirement from professional football, spending time with Melbourne Victory, Wellington Phoenix, and Brisbane Roar. 155 games, 43 goals, and of course, a Johnny Warren medal. And yeah, we wish him all the best going forward. What do you make of this week's transfer news? Join the discussion in the comments section and make sure to stay subscribed so you don't miss our weekly transfer news update videos. My name's Lockie. Hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next one.